you can probably tell, we're in my craft room, hence all the other stuff kicking around here. And the small amount of space I'm working in as usual. But I've got to show you this. Look at this little teapot. Sorry, my voice went very silly then. We're going to make a tiny terrarium in this little glass teapot. It's even got the little strainer holes here, so it's not going to be a completely closed system, of course. Is that a hole? Yeah, there's a little hole there as well. I think you can feasibly actually use this as a tiny teapot. Anyway, it was just crying out to be made into a little terrarium, I thought. And look at the lid, can you see that? This looks like one of my resin creations. It's got glittery bits in the bottom. So, I've got some little tiny plants, and I've got this little bit of wood, which I don't think is going to go in there, as it is. We can adapt. Now, first thing, of course, is to get some soil in there. Now, we're not going to have room for drainage layers and stuff like that. It's just going to have to manage without. This is some terrarium soil mixed with a little bit of aquatic soil from my fish tanks. It's the stuff that looks like the little beads. Look, can you see there's little beady bits in it? And that's the brown bits, and the green and white beady bits are actually a little tiny bit of plant food. Now, I don't want to put too much soil in because obviously we've got moss and all sorts to go in yet. We do need a little bit more than that. We're going to need a bit of something for the plants to get their little roots into, aren't we? So just a little bit more. It's tiny, isn't it? It's not going to take much. Next thing, I've been dismantling one of my other terrariums and taking cuttings and things. So we've got this tiny little Fittonia cutting. Look at the colours in that. Some assorted little plants that were in this terrarium I dismantled. I've put them just in a pot of water for now. And a couple of little, not sure what these are, cuttings, but they're tiny. So I thought that would be good. This stuff's all gone a bit tatty, but this was all little plants that were in the original terrarium. So I might stick those in a pot somewhere, or put a little bit of a root of that in here, I'm not sure. However, the first thing to do is to try to get, let's see, can we get a bit of the root if I prune that off? Yeah, that leaves a little bit of the root of that whatever it is plant in there. Now, the other thing I want to do is tidy up some of the height on this moss because it has been putting these long pieces out. So I'm going to get some scissors and just snip that off. Now, this terrarium that I've dismantled was originally from Ohm. I think it's pronounced Ohm, isn't it? Joe at Ohm makes the most wonderful terrariums, and I went on one of his courses and I treated myself to a little miniature one, but everything that was in it really has outgrown it now. I mean, this was a long time ago. So the bigger stuff I am moving on to a kind of bigger terrarium. But some of this moss and whatever this little plant was, I think it was originally a Fittonia was in here. But the Fittonia outgrew it, so I put something else in, and so I can't remember what it is. So let's have a bit of that moss. Now, the other thing is I wanted to put a bit of this wood in the middle, and I think I want to kind of lose these bits and just put this bit, which it seems a shame to cut it up. I think it's azalea root, but I'm going to try. If I can at least get that bit off, I think I can get it in there. Now, the stupid thing is I haven't really got a tool handy for doing this with, so I'm going to try and do it with scissors. There we go. Okay, those are some pretty serious scissors, I know. Then we need to take the end off this bit. I think these are going to stick up out of the top. I should probably have put the soil and the moss in after, but we'll see. Is the lid going to fit on? Because it is obviously it's a rounded. Oh yeah, yeah, that is on. So there's our bit of wood. Now I've got to try and work round that, obviously. So I'm going to have to keep pushing it out of the way. But I do want the moss and everything to go down round it. So I've got this moss as well. This is just normal cushion moss. So I might put a bit of that in. I say might, I'm going to. Now, I don't know what moss that is. It seems to be a taller one. But what you do with moss is you cut the roots off like so. Well, they're not really roots. Moss doesn't really have roots as such. We're going to pop that down into there. Try and get it up the right way. Oh. See where we're going with this? Now, I need a pokey thing, don't I, really? Use the handle of a paintbrush. This is too small to use my proper terrarium tools. Just going to poke that down a bit. I mean, that may also be cushion moss, I don't know. It's just that that one's got taller. And now I think, which is going to be the front, I think that's going to be the front. So let's move this a little bit towards the back, just a tiny bit. And we're going to make a little hole in the moss, like so, where we're going to put our little Fittonia cutting. Here comes some tweezers, that's going to be easier, isn't it? Fittonias root really, really easily, so I'm hoping... Oh, come on, let go. So I'm hoping that this will take quite quickly. Gosh, professionals make this look so easy, don't they? There we are. We'll put a little bit more moss around that side. Again, I'll go with this lower moss. It hasn't had a chance to grow quite as tall. Just want to make sure that little cutting is properly supported and surrounded. There we are. And what's that? There's a little annoying twig there. What's this? Pull that out. Okay, so we have one little plant in place. We have some moss sort of in place. That should sort itself out quite quickly. Moss does tend to. Okay. We've got a little sprig of the whatever it was plant over here, because that's actually a little rooted piece. And now down the back there, I'm going to put these. And these are from a plant I bought from a garden centre, and I can't for the life of me think what it is. So if you know, would you pop it in the comments for me, please? Dearie me. Actually, let's get a different pair of tweezers. This might be easier. They've got rubber grippies on the end. Here we are. I might not squash the plant roots quite so much either. Okay, so again, just pushing that down in amongst that moss. Pressing the moss down a little bit around it. Which just leaves this little gap at the front, which again, I'm going to put a little bit of that shorter moss in. But don't worry about this cutting the bottom off bit. It really does no harm to the moss at all. In fact, it helps it to settle. It'll put down little things, little bits to like cling to each other down into the soil a little bit, but not a lot. And yeah, as long as it's got moisture, it'll be entirely happy. I'm just going to lift up the little leaf on that little random plant a little bit. I think you know what, I think we're pretty much done. Let's have a look. What do we think? Well, I think that's adorable myself. Just going to press things down gently a little bit, press that moss in. So a little bit I can see is up the wrong way there, so let's tidy him up. There we go. Little plant hopefully will recover. Oh, I've lost a leaf off it, but there's a bit of root underneath there, so hopefully that will sort itself out as well. Push this down. There we are, and let's hope the little Fittonia roots itself. So I'm just going to give it a bit of a wipe round inside. Probably need to get a cloth, don't I? Oh, don't know. Doing okay with my finger. This little lid on. Oh no, first of all, of course, we want a little drop of water in there. I'm going to use the water. This water actually came out of my fish tank. So it's out of the nano tank. So it's quite well cycled. What I mean is it's not got all the nasty chemicals and stuff in it. It's pretty much akin to using like rainwater or whatever. So the little planties should really like this. Now, as this isn't a completely closed system, it has got those little air holes. Then I am not going to go putting bugs and things in it because I don't want them getting out. Normally I'd be putting springtails in at this point, but I'm not going to. Because they might get out through the spout, I don't know. So there is a plant climbing up there. So it isn't going to be a completely, practically no maintenance closed system. Is that enough water? I'm just going to have a look underneath. It's coming through. I might give it just another little squirt to clear around where our plant cuttings are. And I will show you in a few weeks how this has progressed. But I think it's now time to pop its little lid on, bring it in for a close-up. So, see you for the next one. And if you like this video, you're probably going to like that one that's going to come up over here somewhere any minute now. And you know what? There's a load of buttons down here. If you want to see more of me messing about and doing random things, just click things. Click stuff. Most of it's free. See you later.